Hello everyone and welcome to the movie room, and it's that time again where we go through all of the Oscar nominations for the 92nd Academy Awards, where we talk about who should win, who will win, and all the snubs and surprises that go along with that. So let's not waste any time at all, let's jump straight into it by talking about Best Supporting Actress. So for the nominations we have for this are Kathy Bates for Richard Jewell, Laura Dern for Marriage Story, Scarlett Johansson for Jojo Rabbit, Florence Pugh for Little Women, and Margot Robbie for Bombshell. In regards to who should win, I personally would love to see Florence Pugh win this. I'm a huge fan of Florence Pugh. She's literally one of my favourite actresses possibly ever, which is crazy given how little amount of time she's been around, really, especially in major roles. But Florence was amazing in Little Women, and also just because I love her in general, I would love to see her take this award, of course. But in regards to who will win, I can't see past Laura Dern winning this, which I can't argue against. Laura Dern in Marriage Story was absolutely fantastic. I loved her in that role and that performance. It was brilliant. So for me personally, while I would love to see Florence take it, I can't look past Laura Dern. But I have to say as well, talking about other people in this category, I was so pleased to see ScarJo actually get a nomination for Jojo Rabbit here, because she is being so overlooked for that film. Everyone's focusing on Marriage Story, which, granted, she's amazing in Marriage Story, but she's so good in Jojo Rabbit as well. So to see her get this nomination, I thought was really nice. I was really happy to see that. I didn't expect it at all, and it is honestly one of the biggest surprises of this entire nomination slate. Going over to costume design, we have The Irishman, Jojo Rabbit, Joker, Little Women, and Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. In regards to who should win, I think that there are some good contenders here. I am looking at my phone, by the way. I think there are some good contenders here. I do think, obviously, Little Women, I think Little Women probably should win, and I think it probably will win, just because I know the Oscars, they do like to go for period pieces, and I know a lot of these movies are period pieces. Like, obviously, The Irishman is technically a period piece, Once Upon a Time is technically a period piece, even Jojo Rabbit is technically a period piece, but Little Women kind of, ticks the box of that, general period piece kind of film, and the costumes within that are absolutely fantastic. So I think that Little Women probably should win, and I think it probably will win. I think there's a good chance of that. So, they could give it to like Once Upon a Time, I know, or The Irishman, because, they are very good costumes, and they are very much Academy movies that they are going to like. But I think Little Women could do enough just to take the cake there. Nominations for sound mixing, we have Ad Astra, Ford v Ferrari, Joker, 1917, and Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. In regards to who should win, I think that 1917 probably should win for sound mixing, and I do believe it will win as well. 1917 has done very well in award season so far. By the way, my review for 1917 is coming within the next couple of days, so stay tuned for that. But yeah, it's doing very well overall, so I think 1917 will win for this, especially because the sound mixing in that movie for a war film, it just works really well, and I think that, war films lend themselves very well to good sound mixing, so I think that'll work. I mean, I think there is a chance for something like Ford v Ferrari to sneak in, because Ford v Ferrari did have very good sound mixing as well, so I could see Ford v Ferrari getting in there, but I think 1917 will probably do it. Surprised to see Ad Astra there, given the fact that Ad Astra has been doing nothing award season. I think Ad Astra, while I didn't love Ad Astra, I know a lot of people did, and I think that to see it get a nomination must be nice for those people who are a fan of that movie. For me, I feel like it's a bit of a cheap option. I didn't really think it did much personally, but I know a lot of people love Ad Astra, so it must be nice for you. But, in regards to who should win, who will win, I think 1917. And sound editing is literally the exact same situation. We have Ford v Ferrari, Joker, 1917, Once Upon a Time, and The Rise of Skywalker. For me, again, 1917 I think should win, will win. Again, Ford v Ferrari may sneak in. They're very similar categories, and I could see, usually whichever one wins the other. So 1917 I think will sweep both of these, no problem. Again, Ford v Ferrari, if it does win one, it could win the other, or maybe they'll give one to one or the other. I'm not too sure. They could completely flip things around this year. Interesting to see Rise of Skywalker there, but I'm not exactly complaining as a stan of Rise of Skywalker. I will accept it, but yeah, I think 1917 again has got this. For original score, we have Joker, Little Women, Marriage Story, 1917, and The Rise of Skywalker. Really nice category here, and a lot of good contenders. In regards to who should win, I would really like to see Randy Newman get this for Marriage Story, especially because it's kind of his year. I think that there's a lot of people really banking on Randy Newman getting this. Obviously, he's been doing scores for Pixar for years, and then to do this score for Marriage Story, it just seems like it was going to work so well, and it does. It's a brilliant score. I'd love to see it get nominated. Also, Thomas Newman for 1917. I think that's a really good score, especially in some of the more heavier action scenes that really, really hits you hard. I love seeing John Williams get a nomination here for The Rise of Skywalker. Like, as a Star Wars fan, as a fan of John Williams and his music, that's music that's very close to me, very close to my heart. I would love to see John Williams get an Oscar here, especially because this is the final Star Wars movie, and we do know the Oscars do like their legacy, so they could do a legacy Oscar for John Williams. I would love to see that. So they're all the ones I think should win, but who will win? I think Hilda's going to get it for Joker. Again, she's kind of been sweeping it, so I think that Joker is in a very good position to win this. Although I did like the score in Joker, I don't think it stands out as much as some of these other films like 1917 and Marriage Story. But in regards to this Academy, in regards to the Oscars, I definitely could see Joker getting this for sure. Now, skipping over a few, I'm going to go to Best Supporting Actor. We have Tom Hanks for A Beautiful Day in the Neighborhood, Anthony Hopkins for The Two Popes, Al Pacino for The Irishman, Joe Pesci for The Irishman, and Brad Pitt for Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. In regards to who should win, and also who will win, I think Brad Pitt, I think this is his Oscar to lose. Brad Pitt, again, sweeping it. I think the overall Academy and the overall award season spectrum has been extremely consistent this year. For the most part, the same awards have been given to the same winners. So I think that, again, Brad Pitt, he's going to get this. And I think Brad Pitt is a real standout. I mean, in regards to any upsets, I mean, there could be a Joe Pesci. Like, Joe Pesci could get in there, given the fact that The Irishman is a very performance movie, and Joe Pesci came out of retirement for the film. So, you know, there is a chance Joe Pesci could get it. And obviously, Joe Pesci was fantastic in The Irishman. So good. But I do think this is Brad's to lose, and I think he should win, and I think he probably will win, giving Brad Pitt that Oscar. I think that fits well for this narrative. For international feature film, we have Corpus Christi from Poland, Honeyland from North Macedonia, Les Miserables from France, Pain and Glory from Spain, and Parasite from South Korea. There's no point even discussing this. Parasite will win this, no questions asked. I mean, I've actually not seen any of these. I will be seeing Parasite in a couple of weeks' time. It hasn't come out here in the UK yet. I do want to see Pain and Glory. That actually came out on Blu-ray today here in the UK, so I might go pick that up. But yeah, Parasite, no questions asked, is going to win this, no worries. For production design, we have The Irishman, Jojo Rabbit, 1917, Once Upon a Time, and Parasite. In regards to who should win this, I think, for me personally, the one that stands out the most is Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. 1917 does have fantastic production design, really great sets, especially in like those open fields and stuff like that. It looks fantastic. The Irishman, also very good production design, but for me, Once Upon a Time really felt authentic. It really felt like I was in 1960s Hollywood, and given the fact that this movie is clearly very popular among Academy voters, I could definitely see it winning as well. So for me, I think for should win, will win, it's got to go to Once Upon a Time here. For film editing, we have Ford v Ferrari, The Irishman, Jojo Rabbit, Joker, and Parasite. In regards to who should win, I don't know with this one. I mean, I think Jojo Rabbit is a really strong contender here because Jojo Rabbit does have really strong editing. In regards to who will win, though, I could see Joker getting this. I don't know if it will completely, but I don't know. In regards to like these options, like none of them particularly stand out for me for editing, and I could see Joker getting it probably. I don't know about Parasite because again, I've not seen Parasite, so I don't actually know what the editing is like in that movie. Maybe it's completely amazing and, you know, perhaps that will win. Obviously, I'll have to get back to you on that once I've actually seen Parasite in a couple of weeks. But yeah, I think Joker probably will win this. I would like to see Jojo get it, and overall, I'm surprised by the amount of nominations Jojo has gotten. It did way better than I thought it was going to. But yeah, I think Joker will probably get this, unless Parasite has amazing editing, which I don't know. Let me know in the comments if you've seen it. For Best Cinematography, we have The Irishman, Joker, The Lighthouse, 1917, and Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. For me, this is no question. This has got to go to Deeks. Roger Deakins is definitely going to get this for 1917. This film is all about cinematography. This movie is all about the cinematography. It's literally... The whole point is to make it look like a one-shot movie, and you could not do that without Roger Deakins. And I think that the Deeks, it's his time. Obviously, he won it a couple of years ago for Blade Runner 2049, my favorite movie of all time, and also just, you know, maybe the best movie I've ever seen. And the movie with the best cinematography of all time is Blade Runner 2049. He won his Oscar finally for that film, and honestly, I could see him getting this again. I think that this is easily Deeks' Oscar to get. I think that this is his. I cannot wait to see him get back on stage again to collect it. If he doesn't get it, I don't know what to say. I mean, The Irishman didn't particularly stand out to me, neither did Joker. I mean, Joker had a few nice shots here and there, but nothing particularly consistent. Same with Once Upon a Time. Nice to see The Lighthouse nominated, I will say. It's really nice to see The Lighthouse nominated. If The Lighthouse wins this, I won't be upset about it because it's a black and white film. That's very much a cinematographer's thing. I could see them doing that. But for me, 1917, the whole reason that movie works and is as successful as it is because of Deeks. And I think they need to reward that. So I think Roger Deakins is going to get this. He's kind of my god. I worship him. So if he wins this, very, very pleased. And I think he will. In the category for visual effects, we have Avengers Endgame, The Irishman, The Lion King, 1917, and The Rise of Skywalker. In regards to who should win, as much as I hate to say it, I think Lion King probably should win, just because, you know, say what you want about The Lion King. I mean, I really didn't like it. I thought it was dreadful. You can't take away from the visual effects of that movie. It looks stunning. It looks amazing. It's the most photorealistic animal movie you'll ever see in your life. So I think The Lion King probably should win, and it probably will. I was actually surprised to see it in this category, given the fact that it's technically an animated movie. Like, it's funny going through that whole conversation, but it seems like they've actually put it in for more like a live action thing here, but whatever. They could give it to Endgame, I don't know. And also, equally, they could give it to The Irishman, given the fact that they love The Irishman and they will want to reward it for, obviously, the kind of revolutionary technology they brought in there. But yeah, I think Lion King maybe is the front runner here, but potentially Irishman. I'm not too sure on this one. For makeup and hairstyling, we have Bombshell, Joker, Judy, Maleficent, Mistress of Evil, and 1917. Isn't it bizarre that Maleficent's on here? In this particular category, every single year, they always chuck in that random film, and Maleficent is this year. It was like when they nominated Suicide Squad a couple of years ago. So Maleficent 2 is now an Oscar-nominated movie, people. But in regards to who should win this, I think it's between Judy and Bombshell. I think they're the two it's between, just because of what they did to Renee Zellweger to make her look like Judy Garland was fantastic, and same with Bombshell with Charlize Theron to make her look like Megyn Kelly. Of course, you can check out my review for Bombshell. It was the last video. Yeah, I don't know with this one. I mean, I've not actually seen Judy myself. I'm going to see Judy soon, before the BAFTAs and the Oscars, but I'm not too sure on this one. I think if I had to give it to one, I'd probably give it to Bombshell. But yeah, it's definitely a two-horse race. It's definitely between Judy and Bombshell. Now we have the nominations for animated feature film, which is by far the best category of the Oscars this year for me personally. We have How to Train Your Dragon, The Hidden World, I Lost My Body, Klaus, Missing Link, and Toy Story 4. Firstly, thank you, Oscars, for not nominating Lion King, you absolute legends. If you did, I would have completely disregarded you this year, because for the most part, these nominations were a disaster, but you did not give The Lion King a Best Animated Feature nomination, so well done. Now, for me, who should win this should absolutely, no questions asked, go to How to Train Your Dragon: The Hidden World. I think that movie is severely underrated. The trilogy as a whole is underrated, and I think that How to Train Your Dragon 3, it was so good. It had such a great ending. It wrapped up everything beautifully. The animation is stunning. The story was great. I think it was just such a fantastic film, and it was so overlooked. And I think that it's such a shame because it's so good. In regards to who will win, I don't think it will win. I don't think How to Train Your Dragon is going to win whatsoever. I don't think DreamWorks ever get any nominations, or any wins, sorry. I mean, I know I Lost My Body and Klaus are both doing really well in regards to critics and stuff like that, but obviously this isn't the Critics' Choice Awards, so it might not be that. Obviously, you've got Toy Story 4 there. It's Pixar. And Toy Story 3 was a nominee for Best Picture. So, if I had to say one, I'd probably say Toy Story 4, but honestly, it could go either way between this and Klaus, personally, for me. But it's probably leaning more towards Toy Story 4. Then we have Best Original Song, which consists of I Can't Let You Throw You Away from Toy Story 4, I'm Gonna Love Me Again from Rocketman, I'm Standing With You from Breakthrough, Into the Unknown from Frozen 2, and Stand Up from Harriet. For me, who should win, I think Into the Unknown from Frozen 2 was the most standout song within that film. I loved it, and I think it really was a very great sounding song. I mean, I'm not a music critic, so I can't really talk about music in this sort of way as I do film, but I just really like that song, and it was definitely my favourite of this list, but I don't think it's going to win. I think that's definitely going to go to I'm Gonna Love Me Again from Rocketman. It just makes a lot of sense to give Elton an Oscar. He'll be there, he'll be able to perform it on stage. It just makes so much sense to give it to him, so it's going to go to that for sure. Then we have the nominations for Best Adapted Screenplay, and they're going for The Irishman, Jojo Rabbit, Joker, Little Women, and The Two Popes. I could definitely see The Irishman being a frontrunner, but honestly, in regards to who should win, I think probably maybe Little Women or Jojo. One of those two for me personally, I'd probably give it to. But who will win? I could honestly see Joker getting this. I don't want it to. I don't think Joker should necessarily. As much as I like Joker and enjoyed it, I don't think it should win Best Adapted Screenplay, but I could definitely see it give it to them, or The Irishman. I think it's one of those two. I think it's definitely The Irishman or Joker that will win this. Again, I personally either go for Jojo or Little Women. I think both of those were a bit more original and did a bit more with that material. But The Irishman and Joker are definitely the front runners and two extremely popular films within the Academy, so I think it's going to be one of those two that'll get it for sure. Now, for original screenplay, we have Knives Out, Marriage Story, 1917, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, and Parasite. Really nice to see Knives Out here. Really nice to see Knives Out here. But who should win? I mean, I think Marriage Story should. I mean, as much as I really love Knives Out, I think Marriage Story should, just because Marriage Story, it's such a fantastic film. And Baumbach, obviously, I'm sure most of you already know the nominations, but Baumbach didn't get a director nom, so I think to reward him with an original screenplay nom is appropriate. It seems right to me. So I'd like to see that personally. But personally, I know Quentin Tarantino is going to get this, especially because I don't think Tarantino is going to win Best Director. So again, to kind of similarly to my logic with Baumbach, to instead of giving him a Best Director nom, they'll give him an adapted, an original screenplay nom. That's how it's going to go, in my opinion. I think that's how it's going to go. So for me, I think Marriage Story should win, but I could definitely see Once Upon a Time in Hollywood winning this for sure. And now moving over to leading actor, we have Antonio Banderas for Pain and Glory, Leonardo DiCaprio for Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, Adam Driver for Marriage Story, Joaquin Phoenix for Joker, and Jonathan Pryce for The Two Popes. For me, this is easy for who should win. It should be Adam Driver for Marriage Story. This is by far the best male performance I've seen of the year. I loved him in Marriage Story. So powerful, so impactful, and so memorable as a performance. I could definitely see that. And that should win, in my opinion. I loved it. And I think it's about time Adam Driver gets an Oscar. He's done so many great performances over the last few years. I think this is the time. But is he going to win? No. Who is? Joaquin Phoenix. Joaquin Phoenix has been sweeping it completely. I mean, there was a point in time where I thought it was a two-man race between Adam and Joaquin, but it's definitely Joaquin's Oscar now. It just is. But I can't really complain too much, you know. I mean, Joker, it's a good movie, and he's fantastic in it. He's definitely the best part of it. And, you know, the Joker as a character is just very infamous within the Academy Awards. Of course, Heath Ledger won an Oscar after he had passed away for playing the Joker in The Dark Knight. It's going to be Joaquin. It's going to be Joaquin. I want it to be Adam. I wish it'd be Adam, but it's not going to be. It's going to be Joaquin. And leading actress, we have Cynthia Erivo for Harriet, Scarlett Johansson for Marriage Story, Saoirse Ronan for Little Women, Charlize Theron for Bombshell, and Renee Zellweger for Judy. Interesting nominations to see Cynthia Erivo here, although I'm a big fan of hers, so to see her there is really nice. Charlize Theron, I don't quite get why she's there. She's good in Bombshell, but Oscar-worthy? Yeah, I don't think so. For me, who should win? ScarJo should definitely win this. I mean, I know I'm absolutely loving up Marriage Story all over the shop in this video, but I'm sorry, ScarJo is amazing, and she is so good in that. So yeah, ScarJo should definitely win for Marriage Story, 100%. I have no doubt about that. But who will win? I think there is a chance for ScarJo, but I think it's going to go to Renee Zellweger. Again, she's kind of been taking a lot of the wins across the award season, a lot of nominations, a lot of buzz surrounding her as Judy, so I think it's going to go to Renee. Again, I personally go ScarJo, but I think it's going to be Renee, just based on the track record of the Academy so far and how award season has gone. I think it's Renee's. I think this is Renee's Oscar. Now, for Best Director, we have Martin Scorsese for The Irishman, Todd Phillips for Joker, Sam Mendes for 1917, Quentin Tarantino for Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, and Bong Joon-ho for Parasite. Again, it's hard for me to talk about Parasite because I've not seen it yet. I mean, I know a lot of people really did want Bong Joon-ho to get a nomination and to potentially win. In regards to who should win here, I think my should win and will win will be the same. I think it will be Sam Mendes for 1917, just because to kind of direct and command this scale of a project, you know, kind of like a one-shot war movie where it travels across all these locations and it's sprawling and things like that. It does take a lot of skill and talent to direct such a big project in that way. So I definitely could see them rewarding Sam Mendes, especially because Sam Mendes has been doing very well across award season as a whole. I could see them giving it to Sam Mendes. Again, I think that, you know, Bong Joon-ho is definitely a fan favorite, and I definitely could see him doing it. But the other ones, like I say, Tarantino, I don't see him winning here. I see him getting the Best Original Screenplay, so I could definitely see them giving that to him rather than giving him a director nomination. And Martin Scorsese, again, there's a chance for Scorsese, but I just think that there's a lot more going for Sam Mendes, and I think that he will definitely take that for sure. And finally, we have Best Picture. And the Best Picture nominees are Ford v Ferrari, The Irishman, Jojo Rabbit, Joker, Little Women, Marriage Story, 1917, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, and Parasite. I mean, I was very shocked to see Ford v Ferrari getting here. That was definitely a weird one. The 10th slot can always be a bit of a weird one. Like, obviously, last year was Black Panther. This year, Ford v Ferrari. Very strange indeed. Ford v Ferrari doesn't have a chance, though. We're not even going to talk about that. Nice to see Jojo get in there as well. Again, Jojo was slightly surprising to me to see in there. I mean, the amount of nominations Jojo has got as a whole has been surprising to me. Who should win? For me, I want to say Marriage Story. Marriage Story was For me, one of the best movies I saw last year, maybe even like the best movie I saw last year, quality-wise. I adore Marriage Story, and I'd love to see it win here, but I just don't think it's going to. What will win Best Picture? I think this is a two-man race, or a two-movie race, shall we say, between 1917 and Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. These are the two that are kind of been going back and forth in this final leg towards the Oscars. Especially because, obviously, usually with a director win, you get the Best Picture win. And I think with Sam Mendes, in my opinion, getting that, director nom, I think the 1917 is in a very good place to win. But equally, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, it is Tarantino. He's very popular among the Academy. This film is literally made for the Academy. It's all about Hollywood and classic Hollywood. And this is a movie they would love. And Once Upon a Time is a fantastic film. I loved it. So for this, I really don't know. I think 1917, is more... It's got more going for it in the sense, it's a bit more interesting to watch than Once Upon a Time. However, Once Upon a Time has so much detail and care and kind of, delicate work within it. And as a screenplay, I think that it's a bit more... just kind of interesting to look at from a screenplay perspective, whereas, and from a story character perspective, whereas 1917 is more of a technical achievement. So I don't know, it's between these two. But I'm not going to sit on the fence. If I'm going to make a prediction for what will win Best Picture, I'm going to say it's 1917. I'm going to say it's 1917 because of Sam Mendes, and also just because I do think that the Academy have been really impressed with that film and what it's been able to deliver and what it's been able to do. I think with the team of Sam Mendes and Roger Deakins working together for this, it just creates something special. And I think it just proves that with Roger Deakins, no matter who you pair him with, it creates, whether it is Sam Mendes, whether it's Denis Villeneuve, he just creates the absolute best projects. And I think 1917 is going to pull through, and I think it will win Best Picture at the Academy Awards. So there you have it, guys. That is the rundown of all the nominees for the 2020 Oscars and the 92nd Academy Awards. Make sure to let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. Who do you think will win, and who do you think will win in each respective category? Play the game with me in the comment section down below. Can't wait to have a great discussion with you all. And as always, if you want to see more movie reviews and movie-related videos just like this, be sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell so you don't miss an upload from me. And hope to see you guys again next time.